Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zach Moonshine with Metal Devastation Radio, and right now on the phone with me, I have Rapist from the band Inverticrux. Is that how you say it, Inverticrux?
That is.
Awesome, dude. So, how the fuck you doing today, man?
Oh, well enough. I'm standing out in the rain, trying to gather the mood for this conversation. It's gloomy, it's dark, it's moody.
Perfect.
It's the right time.
So, what can you tell us is going on right now in the world of Inverticrux?
Well, let's see. At this time, I'd say it's all about promoting the second full-length release. I just almost stepped on a frog. And what's the case? Yeah, it's mostly about promotion. I guess it came out officially in what was it, December of 2014. So I'm on house arrest at this time, so I'm unable to do much else but to promote the shit out of the album. And I don't mind telling the world.
Oh, at least you can do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they can't take my internet away just yet, anyway.
That's cool. So, how long have you guys been a band, and how did you get started?
Okay. Well, I guess it started around 2005 as a metal rockabilly band with me and two Mexican guys from Texas, and I joined as drummer, and it was like horror-based music. So that was the seed of what was later to become Inverticrux, but it would first transform into Vintage Flesh, and that was like a suicidal horror black metal band, or at least that's how we coined it. And that we came out with 2 releases for that material, and it was self-released. And a lot of negativity went into that music, and a lot of negative vibes were brewed up with that through that music. And ultimately, it was a 2-man, me and drums and vocals, and Hex, who was part of the psychobilly band, on guitars and synths. And I kind of convinced him I turned him on to black metal. He was always into metal and horror music, like Alice Cooper and Misfits and that sort of thing. But I turned him into the darker stuff, from touring in my black van with and I got to choose the music. So I turned him and the other guy from the psychobilly band onto black metal. But the other guy went back to Texas, and we're like, well, we can't continue as a psychobilly, so what do we do? And I convinced him, let's try to form a black metal band. And I was always into it, and he was freshly excited about the idea of that kind of music, and he just took off with it with his guitar style. He just created some serious creepy vibes from that. And but 2 albums into it, then we had Terry join, Terry Savastano, and we were trying to get a full unit so we could go live, but it wasn't meant to be. And I'd say Hex had something of a sort of a nervous breakdown, I suppose, and he's very personal, very introverted, and really didn't want to go live anymore. He wanted to turn that into just a studio project, and we wanted to go live, so Hex went a separate way, and me and Terry managed to get some other guys together. But with all the negative vibes and the terrible things that were happening around the band, which I could just go on about, I was like, let's tone it down a little bit, with Inverticrux when we renamed it, and let's almost make it kind of like slightly hokey in the way of like a Hammer horror film would with Vincent Price, but also maintain some of the seriousness that we started with Vintage Flesh. So some of the songs could be very serious, Others could be, like one song here fades all worldly pleasure. That's probably not going to be a pleasant tune, and it isn't. And then you go into Scarecrow Clowns from Planet Spider. How the hell can that be, misconstrued as anything but kind of hokey in the sense that, all right, we're not taking everything perfectly seriously, but we just tried to relax it a little bit, a little comic relief here and there, because I honestly believe you could create, you could stir up some real negative energies by really messing with really dark music,
Sort of like an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
and that's how enough way to explain it, I suppose.
Yeah, on one hand, it's pretty fucking disturbing, and it's got some really, really dark shit in it. But at the same time, it's like what the fuck is going on here? You can't help but laugh sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I think I learned that from Alice Cooper because, my first album of his was Welcome to My Nightmare, and there's some truly nightmarishly bizarre shit going on that album, but there was also like these moments of, relax, it's just a party, people. I'm just trying to scare you a little bit, and I like that aspect. And so we kind of infused some of that into there. But it's obviously more intent to be scarier. These are different times, and it's not just to be scary, but it's to invoke a mood as well,
Now, the name itself, Inverticrux, how did you guys come up with that, and is there a meaning behind that?
Yeah, that was a play on words. Basically, Vintage Flesh, I was just so looking forward to getting rid of that name because I had to compromise with two other band members, and they were like, that name I came up when I was probably 17 and picturing myself one day in a band, but I wouldn't get involved until many years later in music. And so that name's been kicking around forever, and it probably was more intended for like a death metal band or something. But going through a stream of names, and everyone's like, all right, it was just a problem going through all these names. And just to settle, I was like, okay, let's just call it Vintage Flesh. And yet the music didn't sound anything like Vintage Flesh. So this time around, I had more artistic license or control of the band. So I was like, this time I'm going to make up a word. Because first of all, I don't want there to be a term unless somebody's purposely, wants to use our name in their band. I don't want to be another Ghost, like Ghost BC. It's just like there's a million Ghost bands out there. And I just wanted to make up a word so it's less likely that there's another one floating around out there somewhere. I want it to be unique to us, but I also wanted it to, sound like we sound musically. And so it's inverted cross is what I was thinking, but crux means to have a crux in life, to have problems, long-lasting issue or something, and I think that religion has been a problem to all man, so I switched the word cross to crux and maintained inverted, and I just turned it into one word, Inverticrux, sort of like Metallica or Megadeth, but not with the intent of becoming so, well known, I suppose, or,
right, I got you.
Mainstream, I suppose.
That's very cool, man. Well, as far as the local, where are you guys from, first of all?
Oh, yeah, I'm originally from New Jersey, and then I moved to New England starting in Connecticut in '97. I started working my way up, further up through Mass and Rhode Island, and eventually I made it up to New Hampshire, where I spent, not in total, not consecutively, but about over 10 years here now. And so that's where we are, in New Hampshire, but it's southern New Hampshire. I'm in more northern New Hampshire now at the moment, but but that's where the band started out, and that's where the members pretty much reside within the southern border of New Hampshire, bordering on Mass, 45 minutes from Boston. So we could almost be considered like a Boston band, like Aerosmith is. You know, they're actually from New Hampshire, but everyone considers them a Boston band because they just figure that's what people recognize from other parts of the world, a major city. Because we don't have any cities up here. We have some big towns, you know. That's about it.
What's the local metal scene like there?
It could be better. I always say, you know, I think part of my position here in New England is to help the brotherhood, to help sustain camaraderie between metalheads. Because growing up in New Jersey, I just recall, like, you know, Jersey's kind of trapped in an 80s kind of time warp, you know, and it was just a real healthy place to have grown up in the 80s, as I recall, and discovering metal and running with it there, and just there was no such thing as backstabbing between metalheads. First of all, it was the 80s, and it was just a healthier time for metal, and there was more of a brotherhood, you know, a unity between metalheads. I don't care, you know, where they came from in the world. You just, oh, you're metal, you're my brother, you know. And as I moved up here, or sister, and as I moved up here, I realized it wasn't the same thing, and it took me a few years to figure it out. But I think, you know, New England's more ska, punk, hardcore, rap, you know, whatever, for whatever reason. And, you know, so it's not as metal based up here. So metalheads, I think they were more scattered, and they didn't have other fellow metalheads so much to unite with. So there's a little bit of, there's not as much camaraderie between bands as infighting and stuff, but there's certain circles, you know, we stick. Like my band runs with a certain circle of other bands, and that's it. And then the rest just talk shit about each other. I think it's silly, but I just keep trying to, you know, maintain that camaraderie. And I talk to younger metalheads all the time. I'm 43 now. And I'm always trying to remind younger metalheads, yeah, it's great that you're into metal and you're excited about it, but remember your brothers and sisters, you know. That's what keeps it around, you know.
Right on, man. Yeah. Now, how about this compilation, Operation Underground? How did you guys come? Like, how did that come together, and how did you get hooked up with Otto?
Oh well, yeah, that's a mighty fine little project that turned out to be. I wasn't expecting much, being a free download, and but he really put a lot of work and time and effort into it, and you know, wow, he's a marketing genius. He really just whipped up a lot of attention for it, and it's still stirring. But you know, we'll see what else, you know, how it wraps up. But I'm a big promoter. You know, I always tell other people they want to involve us. We don't lightly involve ourselves with anything. We're going to be part of your promotion. And you know, I knew Otto from around here. He's a New Englander too, and but he was in a much different genre of metal, so there wasn't a lot of likelihood that we would cross paths. We just met online, you know, and you know, and then he decided to do this extreme metal thing, and he picked out some local bands who happened to be friends of mine and my guys, and I was like, yeah, I brought up that I was interested in getting involved. And then the other bands, like, who was it, Sacrichrist, being one of them, was like, oh yeah, definitely hook up with Ray, check out Inverticrux, you dig it. And he did. It was no problem right away. He was just like, yeah, get on board. And then he was really glad I did, because I really, I ran with it. It was definitely because I'm on house arrest. Ultimately, I got nothing better to do but promote the living shit out of shit. So, him not knowing that about me, he later looked back and said, I turned him on to some radio guys that I know, and some magazines, some zines, and he's like, "Holy shit! I'm glad I hooked up with Ray Piss because anything I get involved in, that's it. I got to be 100% or nothing."
Fuck yeah, man. Well, that's how you get shit done, though.
Oh hell yeah! It's all about the underground now. I don't assume that with what we do, we'll ever move up beyond the underground. I only hope that we end up kind of cult, maintain some sort of infamy, that the music will live on past beyond the time when I could do it anymore or whatever. And I just want to create something that lasts beyond a lifetime. And I started late, so I had to get real busy with it, because I was working on my career as an illustrator. I'm actually a tattooist of 20 years and illustrator for other bands as well, mostly metal.
Well, a lot of us dig it at Metal Devastation Radio, so we're definitely gonna fucking push it hard on the fucking on all the metalheads listening.
Oh yeah, that's much appreciated. I don't have the means to even listen to the station just yet, because my means are limited. But at the moment, after that, turns around, I'll be able to check out what you guys are doing some more, and I definitely will. And we're very appreciative that you got behind us and got involved. But because when I listened to the whole thing, we've been on a number of different compilations, and I was like, oh man, this is like some high quality stuff. Like, other compilations just a lot more underground, a lot more low budget productions, and it all sounds great. I love that shit too. But this is like, holy shit, if I knew that he was going with all these kind of bands, I would have tried to choose a better song or something,
No, man, I think it turned out great, dude. Fucking the whole thing is fucking heavy as shit. That was the first time that I'd even listened to it the other night, Friday, when we premiered it on the station, and the whole time I was just sitting there listening to it. I kept waiting for a shitty song to come on, and it never happened, And that's pretty odd for a compilation album, because there's going to be some shit on there that you don't, I don't know, but he put together a good fucking, it's a good mix.
Yeah, he really knew what he was doing. I don't know how he spread out so far across the globe and got so many bands. It seemed to make sense that there was mostly New England bands, being he's from here and stuff. Well, not even mostly, but there was more New England bands than anything else. But that was cool, too. He blended it very well. So good thing. I'm gonna definitely continue to promote it while it's still new, and see what's next for us. Is any other questions? Yeah.
Well, what kind of plans do you guys have for the future besides getting off house arrest?
Well, yeah. If I don't get off house arrest and go into jail arrest, which I'm not hoping that doesn't happen. But then, yeah. It's kind of good, all things happen for a reason. And I know I needed to take a step back, and I'm a city guy, so I got thrust out into the northern New Hampshire woodlands, the mountains up here, and gave me time to think and plan the next attack, And right now, not too many people know, I suppose. A few people that know about us, but it's just a one-man band at the moment, so it's just me. It kind of always was, I guess I'm the mainstay, and so nobody from the last lineup left on bad terms just with all this shit. They got to go on with their lives and their ambitions. And I'm probably not going to stick around here after I get freed of this. So, I'm going to just seek out other musicians like-minded that want to carry on the Inverticrux name and style. And it's very much like, since it's so underground and, experimental, I don't think there's a big demand for our style to have to stay any one particular way, really, as long as there's a foundation of horror, a crossover of genres, which seems to be, something you could expect from us out of the two albums. And, but I also want to mix other genres, maybe not entirely throughout an entire album, but just experiment with a song here and there. So, but I'm very excited to see, who else I end up with. I've worked with other musicians in the past. I'll work with more in the future, I suppose. I just want one guitarist, maybe do a Dark Throne thing, just forget the live act and just put out studio albums. And, one guy on guitar and synths, me on drums and vocals, and we'll go nuts. But, it's all about pushing the boundaries of expectation, that's for damn sure.
Right on, man. Is there a website link where people listening can go to check out more about you guys?
Well, yeah, you can find us on Facebook. I know there's a Wix. We have a Wix page, which is this is a small website, but it's Inverticrux, whatever Wix. I don't know. But you just do a search on it. Tons of shit will come up, because from all my promotion. We're all over the goddamn place, but, you think we're a freaking mainstream band with all this shit that's all flooding the internet, but, it's all I got to do. So, I'm just, never go mainstream. Don't worry about that. I'm too fucking insane for that anyway. They'd never have us.
Right on, man. Well, Rapist, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you wanna add to let the people out there listening know?
Oh yeah, if fate should have it, we'll have something more, and just keep following because this stage of my life is. You think I'd be bored of this by now, but I'm still as excited about metal and its evolution as I was when I was 12, 16, when I was first discovering it. And, that's because we got our foot deep in the mud of metal and we're stuck, we're sticking around. So, stick with us and, we'll keep it interesting.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, before I let you go, I got to get you to make us a station tag, cool?
All right. Where are you guys located anyway?
Tennessee.
Oh, right, yeah. I could note the slight accent there, yeah.
Yeah, just say something like, this is Rapist from Inverticrux, and you are listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Count of three?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay, hold on. Hello, children. This is Rapist, and you're listening to me from Metal Devastation Radio. Listen up. How's that?